Okay, let's talk about some basic virtual machine functions. Then in the next video, we're going to talk about installing a guest OS. If you want to take a break, watch one of my demo videos to sort of as I illustrate the process. Go ahead and do that. There are two ways to start a VM. You can either go into the VirtualBox Manager, find the VM, and click the Start button, or you can actually start it in your file in Windows Explorer. If you double-click the VirtualBox machine definition, it'll start the VM for you. This is also kind of how it works with VMware Workstation. You can start the VM from inside VMware Workstation, but you could also literally go into the directory where the virtual machine lives, double-click the VMX file, and as long as Windows has the appropriate file association, if it doesn't know to use the settings file for that VirtualBox VM to start VirtualBox, it won't do it. If it doesn't know that a VMX file belongs to virtual machine, it won't do it. So the best way to do this, honestly, is from inside the virtual machine. Okay, and so before you enter that data, you're going to need, before you start working with the VM, you need to click inside the VM in the window to move your keyboard and your mouse inside the VM. This is the same thing you would have experienced before now with a VMware or Hyper-V. You got to click inside the console to access the guest OS. Now, the question is, how do you get out again? If you are in full screen view, go to the view menu. To get out of full screen mode, you use your right control key and the F key. If you're not in full screen mode, if you want to get your key back, you hit your right control key. The key sequence, of course, for VMware is Control Alt, and you'll take it back. Worst comes to worst, if you make it, if you can't figure out how to do anything else, what I figured out how to do is you take it into full screen mode and then out again, and that will move your cursor back to the host operating system, at least in a Windows environment. Now, once you're in the VirtualBox Manager, you can end the session by pausing the virtual machine, resetting the virtual machine, closing click the close button, which will give you the option to save its state, send a shutdown signal, or power off the machine, or use the ACPI, which is a power management system, to shut the machine down. These are the ways you can do it. Really and truly, none of these is actually the right way to do this, to be honest with you. Unless you're using an older operating system which can handle gracefully a sudden loss of power, the most you would want to do is pause this thing outside the guest OS. The ideal solution, because you've got services that are running and files that are open and file handles that need to close out and on and on and on, you need to shut that guest OS down internally and gracefully. Whether it is a keyboard, a command line shutdown command, or you click the start button and choose shut down or whatnot. Shut it down from the inside correctly. So you have the least opportunity to mess yourself up with file configuration, or just the VM itself, the guest OS itself getting a little fussy because it hasn't been treated correctly. It won't take you all that long, so don't get yourself in a hurry. Just do it right. So there's that. On the next video, I will talk about installing the guest OS. Thanks, and thank you for watching, and we'll be right back.